Bro, this music is so confusing. I'm sorry. It's like, yeah! Their population is declining, dude. Holy shit. #1 in suicides. Let's go! What is this? South Korea is a cyberpunk dystopia.
I've always found it odd how the cyberpunk genre seemed to have a strange obsession with Japan. All across these movies, you'll find Japanese text, culture, and characters. But this actually makes sense.
Cool as fuck.
These movies date back to the 1980s, a time period where the rise and growth of Japan was crazy. Japan was undergoing an economic miracle. In a 40-year time span, Japan had gone from a small agricultural country to becoming the world's third largest economy. Japan was beating the US in tech, cars, and even video games. Japan's eventual surpassment of the US seemed inevitable. But of course, as we know, this didn't happen. The Japanese bubble burst, and Japan stagnated. And yet, you still continue to see Japanese influence in cyberpunk. But there's a country which I think fits the cyberpunk motif even better: Korea. It's always been a staple of cyberpunk media to feature massive, domineering corporations. Blade Runner has the Tyrell Corporation, Ready Player One has IOI, and Korea has Samsung. It's hard to overstate the impact that Samsung has on Korean society. Many think of Samsung as simply a technology company, but it is actually an incredibly diverse mega corporation. The Samsung Group has over 80 subsidiaries, the largest being Samsung Electronics, which makes everything you think of when you imagine Samsung. But there are of course a number of others, such as Samsung SDI, which is an energy company, Samsung SDS, which offers IT and consulting services, Samsung C&T, which is a construction company, Samsung Sports, which owns a variety of sports teams, Samsung Fire and Marine Insurance, which, you guessed it, offers fire and marine insurance, Samsung Heavy Industries, which is the world's second largest shipbuilder, and Samsung Life Insurance, which is not shady whatsoever. These subsidiaries of the Samsung Group make up roughly 20% of the Korean economy, which is absolutely absurd. This level of dominance over the country lacks any real comparison. It should come as no surprise that Samsung is also Korea's largest employer, employing 100,000.
Bro, this song makes me go fucking hard for Samsung. Like right now, I'm like, fuck yeah, pop off, Samsung. Keep killing it, dude. It's like if the intention is to make Samsung look bad, I have already caved. That's how easily manipulated I am by sounds, okay? Like, I'm literally like, yeah, Chaeballs, let's fucking go. I love this monopoly.
1,000 people across the country. Even the United States' largest employer, Walmart, makes up only 2.5% of the economy.
Yeah, fuck you, Walmart.
The level of control
fucking bitch-ass Walmart, dude. Samsung's
insane.
killing it.
Just looking at it at a cultural level. If you were to ask a Korean primary schooler what they wanted to do when they grew up, more often than not, they'd say work at Samsung. Kids in Korea have it drilled into their brains that getting a job at Samsung is their key to a better and more prestigious life. This isn't an easy task, however. Children, even from an incredibly early age, know that if they want to work at Samsung, they'll have to do it very well in school and get into a prestigious university. Korean society places an incredible significance on education. School days are 11 hours of lecture-based instruction in a variety of subjects.
Wait, 11? No, what? 11? Yo, no wonder it's the fucking most, like, the highest rate of suicide out of any fucking country on the planet, dog. What the fuck? I feel like we'll watch a video about Korea and Samsung at some point. Yes. What he's saying about Chaeballs, what he's saying about Samsung, what he's saying about, like children dedicating their entire lives to, like, learning and getting into these, like, entry exams so they can, like, be a part of the Samsung family is true. Korea highest suicide, not Japan. Yes, bro. America's suicide rate, I think, is like comparable, if not higher than Japan now. Japan fell off on suicides. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, the Korean rate of suicide is like one of the highest in the OECD nations for sure. And I think possibly the highest on the planet, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, let's
And starting in middle school, more than 95% of students will begin to attend privately owned, for-profit cram schools after they finish their regular school day. Overall, students may spend as much as 16 hours studying in a...
we did this too. What? 16 hours? Shut the fuck up. That's crazy. We did do the Darsane, which I think is like now illegal in Turkey. That's what people were saying. But like we did this as well for Bro, the more you leave the West, the further you go east, the more aggressive schooling becomes and the more emphasis placed on schooling in general. Okay? Like, I mean, we did a lot of this shit too. Like, Darsane is like cram schools in Turkey. We did this as well. We had like testing in 8th grade to get into placement tests for high school, which straight up dictate what your career is going to be from like 6th grade. You know what I mean? Or another one in at the end of high school for college.
A day, only coming home to.
Is it less efficient than the West? Is it actually less up? No, they're definitely. What? No, I mean, no. It's not that they're less efficient. They are learning a lot. Bro, we were doing Calc 2 in fucking high school. Like, that was Common Core curriculum for Turkey, not like AP or anything like that.
Sleep. There's a common saying in Korea that if you sleep 3 hours each night, you may get into a top university. If you sleep 4 hours each night, you may get into another university. But if you sleep 5 hours or more each night, especially during your last year of high school, forget about getting into any university. Even more so than other countries, getting into a top university in Korea is a big deal. And the only way to do that is by scoring highly on the Suning or CSAT exam. The Suning exam is a 9-hour-long all-encompassing exam and is offered only once a year. During these 9 hours, the country holds its breath. Teachers wear trainers to muffle their footsteps as they pace their classrooms. Roads around schools are shut down to prevent traffic for students arriving at test sites. Even planes are grounded all across the country, so the sound of them taking off is not a distraction to students. The pressure is immense.
Okay, now I'm sucked in to the fucking the psychotic education system too. I'm like, yeah, Cyberpunk music making me feel some type of way about 12 hours of schooling. I'm like, yeah, let the kids fucking learn. Fuck those airplanes.
Students study Korean, English, mathematics, and history, knowing that if they aren't happy with their result, they'll have to endure another year of grueling studying just to try again. For those who did poorly, well, they'll make up the 20% of students who will take it in a year. Some may even take it up to 5 times. And for those who did well, their parents may reward them with plastic surgery. After all, a more attractive face will give them a leg up in the job market. This may seem insane for people in the West, but yes, this is true, and it's almost a cliche at this point. Of course, there are others who may never be able to find success with Suning, and will be forced to look for a different path. Some may abandon their dreams and work in manufacturing, while others may try to become professional gamers.
Okay, I knew that like Korea had a huge fucking plastic surgery culture. I didn't know it was like that. What the fuck? This is making me realize why Koreans have such a bad gaming culture in that they're addicts, lol. I didn't know they were doing it to fucking high schoolers to like have better job opportunities. That's insane, dude. What the fuck?
Spending all their free time practicing an internet cafe.
Doesn't help that you put a picture of yourself on Java applications.
Some may even try to become K-pop idols. But even in the entertainment industry, there still exists this extreme work culture. When someone auditions to become a K-pop idol, they sign what's called a slave contract, where they agree to let a management company control every facet of their lives for years. It often takes years of incredibly intense training for a K-pop group to debut, and in that time, trainees are constantly—
Dude, I'm standing. Holy fuck, this music is making me think everything is in Korea is so cool.
Monitored, having to follow an extremely strict diet, and are not allowed to be in a relationship. Trainees live together in dorms so they can be better
slave
monitored,
contracts,
and aren't even allowed to leave
Let's
without
go.
permission. At any point, even after years of intense training, the management company could drop the trainee with no financial compensation. This extreme work culture, which propelled Korea onto the world stage as a major economy.
Yeah, that's why you look at fucking, on the one hand, Blackpink, okay? Blackpink in your fucking area, and then you look at Berry-chan here in Burbank, okay? And there's a massive gap there, okay? I'm going to say it. Yeah. I'm sorry. Berry-chan is not clearing Blackpink, okay? Stan Luna right now. I'm standing. I'm so sorry. Am I doing it right? Stand twice.
Economy. is also slowly destroying it. Extreme overworking has caused a mental health epidemic, giving South Korea the highest suicide rate of any developed country in the world. Since the 1980s, Korean population growth has fallen below replacement levels. As of 2020, the Korean fertility rate was at 0.84 births per woman, which not only puts them far below replacement level, but also is the lowest in the world. The population of Korea is already in decline and will continue to
Fuck yeah.
into the future.
Bro, this music is so confusing. I'm sorry. It's like, yeah! Fuck yeah, their population is declining, dude. Holy shit, #1 is suicides. Let's go!
It's only exacerbated by the country's compulsory military conscription, which forces all men in the country to serve in the army for at least 2 years. Well, all men in theory at least. Of course, like any other country, Korea has exceptions to its conscription, and those who are unfit to serve don't. And who decides who is fit to serve? Military brokers. In August of 2022, after serving 18 months in jail, Samsung Vice Chairman Lee Jae-young was officially pardoned for his heavy...
Wait. As I grew up as an Indian expat in Korea as a kid, and I will say Korea is an extremely strange place to live in, culturally conservative and homogenous nation, which is obsessed with capitalism and development. Hello? No. That is the most obvious thing, dude. What do you mean? What do you think happens to countries that America has literally designed, okay? America built every aspect of it straight up. Yeah. No, that's what you get. Like, you get a lot of prosperity, you get a lot of fucking development, you get a lot of money, but also that's what you get. You can say, Hasan, oh, typical Hasan getting mad at America again, but like, it's literally the fucking truth. You know what I mean? South Korea is just KUSA. I mean, their agencies are like KCIA. You know what I mean? It's not like, their pop is K-pop. Their CIA is KCIA. They are KUSA in many ways. You can almost say the same about China. It's just Asian culture. No. An emphasis on education being seen as like the most, like the fundamental bedrock of societal development and the most important part of like whatever kind of distorted meritocratic system that they have is certainly true for not only Korea, but for China as well. And certainly true for Japan to a certain degree as well, as far as I understand. No, there is that's why I said the further east you go, the more they care about education. Like, I'm saying this from in India too. I'm saying this from my own personal experience, coming from Turkey, which is obviously nowhere near China, but still, you know what I mean? It's like, in comparison to the Western world, I saw both sides. I saw Western education, and I saw education even in a place like Turkey, and it's certainly different. It's not monolithic. There is truth to it. As far as an emphasis on education, but this is not just that. This is not just education, or it's not anywhere near similar, like Korean culture, Japanese culture, like hyper capitalism, especially when you look at two countries, Japan and Korea, okay, and shared values and principles that they have in contemporary societal development versus a country like China, which has very different aspects to their societal development, whether it be social programs, whether it be even development, whether it be like rural areas, focusing on rural areas and developing rural areas, like, it's very different. And there is an aspect, or rather, there is one factor there, and that is that is absolutely the reality that, like, the United States played a fundamental role in developing both of these countries, a fundamental role in building these states, or at least the contemporary version of these states. South Korea even more so than Japan. Anyway, let's continue.
Heavy involvement in a bribery scheme with the previous Korean president Park Geun-hye, where Lee Jae-young would offer over $38 million in bribes. Yoon Suk-yeol, one of Park's successors after she was sent to jail, would then go on to pardon Jae-young, citing his importance to Samsung and by extension the larger Korean economy. Korea is not new to corruption. In fact, a very similar scandal happened years ago with Lee Jae-young's father, Lee Kun-hae, who, along with his many scandals, is credited for the transformation of Samsung into one of the world's largest businesses. It seems that anyone connected to these hyper-rich families can get away with anything. In fact, Korea has a word for these families: chaebol. At the start of this video, I may have lied a bit. Korea doesn't just have Samsung as its corporate overlord. It also has 3 others: SK, Hyundai, and LG. These 4 chaebol make up the majority of the Korean economy and account for half of all exports. Work at these companies is so in demand that in addition to demanding degrees from highly prestigious universities, they also have their own standardized entrance exams to recruit workers, of which hundreds of thousands of people take annually. The families that control these chaebol are near untouchable, and they are so spoiled that they'll lend an entire passenger plane just because you serve them their macadamia nuts in a bag rather than on a plate. The Korean government is a hostage to these companies. If any one of them were to fall, it's possible the entire Korean economy may collapse. The Korean government has little choice but to let these companies do as they please.
Did you know that American aid accounted for nearly 80% of all government revenue in South Korea in the early 1950s? Yes, I did. There was a time and place where North Korea was seen as the prosperous nation in comparison to the military dictatorship of the South. It sounds insane to even comprehend. It sounds insane. Like when I say that, it sounds like you're making it up. So, you know, basically until the collapse of the Soviet Union, yes. Anyway, that's what it is what it is. That's what happens when America controls your development. Isn't it kind of cool how Cyberpunk still had a decent impact on nerd culture despite a dogshit launch? Yeah. It makes me so sad. It makes me so sad that it like fucking imploded at launch. Because it was such a great game. I wish everyone could have played it. I loved it. You guys know I loved it. I played it literally to the ground. Like I finished it on stream. Anyway, didn't they just post DLC content? Did they come out yet? I thought the DLC's not out yet, but I will probably play it.